Hello, my name is Mia McNeil, and today I will be taking you through the Nashville Small Business Recovery Fund information session where we will do a brief program overview. You can decide whether or not you would like to apply or not, how to apply, and then a deep dive into those required documents. On February 1st, Metro Council authorized a resolution allocating $18 million to NSBRF from the American Rescue Plan Act. $9 million of that $18 million was for grants, which are now closed, and an additional $9 million for loans, $2 million for nonprofits aiding the rollout of these funds. The Mayor's Office of Economic and Community Development oversees the NSBRF, and Pathway Lending is administering the fund on behalf of Metro, and they are responsible for implementing the program, processing applications, and dispersing the funds. We have several technical assistance partners, which includes Connexion, Corner to Corner, Equity Alliance, JUMP, NBIC, the Nashville Area Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and the Tennessee Latin American Chamber of Commerce. Davidson County small businesses are the designated beneficiaries of both the grant and the loan funds. Those funds are for people who were established prior to September 30th, 2019, with annual revenues in 2021 between $10,000 to $1 million and up to 50 full-time employees. The $9 million in loan funds do require repayment if you are a beneficiary of those loan funds. Please keep in mind that the loan amounts start around $5,000 and you would need to have at least gross receipts of up to $10,000 in order to get that minimum loan amount. The maximum amount of a loan that you would be able to receive is $200,000. Keep in mind that the interest rate for this loan is 2%, and that is a fixed interest rate. The minimum closing fee is 1.5% or $350. So, for example, if you received a $10,000 loan, your payments would be $178 per month, and you would pay $350 to close. That amount would be taken out of the loan. Your total interest for that loan will be $516.66. On June 29th, 2022, the applications opened and were available. The funds will be available until all of the resources have already been allocated. $2.5 million of the $9 million that are for loans are designated for North Nashville, with the remaining loans available for anywhere in Davidson County. You must have a business location that is physically located in Davidson County, as well as having a postal address in Davidson County. By the way, if you should have any questions or you are ready to apply and you know it, please find resources at www.pathwaylending.org/Nashville. As a reminder, we have several resource partners that are available to help you through this process. Our NSBRF nonprofit partners are Connexion, Corner to Corner, Equity Alliance, JUMP, the Nashville Area Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, NBIC, the Tennessee Latin American Chamber of Commerce. You can also find helpful information at pathwaylending.org/Nashville. There you will find frequently asked questions and application how-to and videos. Information sessions are virtual or in person. They can be in Spanish or English. And in order to register for an information session, please go to www.pathwaylending.org/Nashville. If you should have any questions, don't hesitate reaching out. You can email us at nashville@pathwaylending.org. So now that you know you're ready to apply for a loan, let's think about how you should start. The first thing you will do after going to pathwaylending.org/Nashville is submit your pre-application using our online form. You also want to make sure that you're going to start collecting your business information. You'll connect with a Pathway Lending team member, and you'll submit the full loan application and finally get ready to take off. If you decided that this would be a great idea for your business, these are some things that you will want to know. Number one, you must be eligible. Number two, you must be able to provide required application documents. Number three, it is a 2% fixed interest on loans up to 20% of your annual revenue. Number four, there's no deadline. Applications remain open while funds are available. Number five, help is available from our community partners. And number six, applying takes work and time, but we can help your business level up. If you've decided that you are indeed ready to apply for the loan or you think you qualify, the first thing you need to do is figure out if you're eligible or not. Here are the things to know to determine whether or not you are eligible. To be eligible, you must be currently active, open, and established prior to September 30th, 2019. You must have a physical location and a postal address in Davidson County. You cannot have any more than 50 full-time employees. You must have a minimum credit score of 600. You must be a for-profit entity with gross revenues between $10,000 and $1 million. You could not have received a grant from the Nashville Small Business Recovery Fund. You must have a valid registration with the state of Tennessee or a Davidson County business license prior to that approval. If you don't have those two things right now, I would recommend going ahead and getting them done because you can get them, but it should be prior to that approval. And then any federal, state, or local regulations, you need to be in compliance, all right? As we think about those required documents, here are some things to keep in mind, okay? You must have your 2020 and your 2021 business and personal tax returns, a 1040 Schedule C, or a small business tax form 1120 or 1065. You also need your personal financial statement. You need a business debt schedule, year-to-date business financial statements. You need a business plan, and I 100% recommend having a business plan. You need a voided check from your business bank account. Keep in mind that a personal bank account will not work. You must have a business bank account. You also need a valid government ID, and you need your Davidson County business license or state of Tennessee registration, and then your executed organization documents. So, can you supply 2 years of tax returns for the business? Is your credit score 600 or better? Do you see a growth opportunity or financing need for the business? And will you generate enough cash for a monthly loan payment? Think about these things very, very carefully. If you are getting a loan, and the reason why you're getting a loan is for your business to thrive, that's a great reason to get a loan for your business. If you were trying to get it to survive, getting a loan is not the best idea. You also want to make sure that you will generate enough cash for whatever that monthly loan payment is. Again, are you getting a loan to grow your business? And will you have enough revenue coming in each month to cover the amount of that loan payment? Your loan amount will be up to 20% of your gross receipts. So keep in mind, if your 2021 gross receipts were between $10,000 and $50,000, the loan amount would be anywhere from $6,000 to $50,000. Your monthly payment would be $105.17 or $175.28, depending on how much your loan is. The total interest that you would pay based on those numbers is anywhere between $309.99 and $516.66. The maximum your closing cost would be on either one of those loans is $350. Okay. Now, keep in mind that the maximum you can have in revenue or gross receipts cannot exceed $1 million. So 20% of $1 million in gross receipts would mean that the maximum loan amount would be $200,000. Okay. So if you received a loan for $200,000, your monthly payment would be $3,555. The total interest you would pay over 5 years is $10,333.12. And the closing cost that you would pay would be $3,000. So what I've given you is the high end and the low end in terms of the loan. Of course, if you have any further questions about how much you can request to borrow, feel free again to go to www.pathwaylending.org/Nashville. You may be wondering, what are closing costs? Well, part of the total cost of the loan, closing costs cover administrative expenses such as filing fees associated with originating the loan. Borrowers can take the fee from the total loan amount before receiving the remaining funds or pay via ACH at closing. If you are looking to make a significant investment in your business to fuel your growth, like technology, equipment, a vehicle, inventory, or leasehold improvements, that is a great way to participate in the Nashville Small Business Recovery Fund loan. A great example of this is if you have a food truck business and your business is expanding, but in order to keep up with the demand of people wanting your food truck or your food truck to come to different locations, it may be important to you to buy a new truck, or perhaps you need to outfit your truck so that you can add more opportunities for desserts or food or whatever. You just want to make sure that anytime you are getting these funds or adding funds into your business, it is to grow your business, to grow the capacity of your business, not just to recover from a business loss. So you've decided that you want to get a loan and you're trying to figure out how much your monthly minimum payments would be. So if you received a loan for $6,000, the monthly payment that you would make each month is $105.17. Let's say that your loan was for $200,000. That loan amount and the monthly payment would be $3,505.55 per month. If you received a loan amount for $20,000, that monthly payment would be $350.56. The main thing you want to keep in mind is to understand how much it would cost for you to cover those monthly payments and for you still to have some money left over. There are tutorials and templates available for you to figure out how to do the work and find out what your minimum monthly cash needs to be in order for you to make those monthly payments. Right. So now it's time for you to get ready, and I'm going to talk you through how to apply, and the applications are open while funds are available. When you have decided that you really do want to go ahead and apply for the loan, the first thing you'll do is a loan inquiry. Once you've done that loan inquiry, you will be reached out to by a loan officer and they will make an introduction. Then you will complete your loan application. And you need to make sure that when you do those loan applications, you are also submitting all of the documents that are going to be required for that loan. All of that information, your documentation, your application, all of that will go into underwriting and the application review. Once it's been gone through underwriting and once the application has been reviewed, there will be a decision, okay? Typically, these are the types of decision you'll have. Either the loan will be approved. That means that you met the eligibility criteria and you provided all the documents that supported the amount that you were requesting. Or there could be a counter, and that means that you met basic eligibility, but you requested an amount more than you can repay. And so you might get a counter that is, or that is, you'll get something for a lesser amount, okay? If your loan is closed, that means that you didn't reply to the request for additional documents or information within 30 days. You can submit a new inquiry if the loan is closed. And then finally, decline. Applicants who don't meet the basic program criteria, including eligibility or time in business or the credit score or the documentation, don't laugh, but you needed some kind of relief. Okay, decline if you did not submit all of your documentation. Okay, so you will have one of those scenarios and it's going to closing after that. The first thing you'll see is the loan inquiry. In that loan inquiry, you're going to submit that using our online form. After you've done this, start collecting your business information and definitely connect with a Pathway Lending team member. You're going to make sure that you submit the full loan application and then get ready to take off. Keep in mind, when you do this loan inquiry, this is not the actual application. This is just the inquiry to let us know that you are interested in getting one of the Nashville Small Business Recovery Fund loans. Now, let's get into the actual loan application. The first thing that you will be required to give is your business name and your industry code. If you have a question about what your industry code is, you can go to Google and look up NAICS. That's your NAICS code, and that is the code that gives us a description of what your industry is. If you have a different name that you're doing business under, put that information in the DBA. You're going to put the type of organization you have, your tax ID, and your website if you have one. Also, you will be required to give us contact information like your business phone number, your business address, your email address, and the state that you're doing business in. You're going to also give us the background of business. So that would include your primary products or services, the date that the business was established, the state that the business was established in. And here's also an opportunity for you to talk about any designations or certifications you have. For example, are you a woman-owned business or a veteran-owned business? Is any of the business conducted online? Are you exporting? Is the business minority owned? Is it a home-based business? Is it an 8A certified owned business? You're also going to want to add in the total number of full-time and part-time employees, and the state that the business was formatted in, okay? Next, you want to submit all of your personal information. So you'll put your first name, last name, social security number, your birth date, that contact information that includes your phone number, address, and email address, and then the background of the person who is requesting the funds. That background information includes the gender, the veteran status, the role, if you're an owner or a managing partner, whatever, the race of the person who's applying, as well as the ethnicity, and if you have an employer, and lastly, of course, if you are a permanent resident or not. Next, required information will include the amount of money that you are requesting for the loan, and then the purpose of the loan. Also, the product, and that product is going to be a business term loan, okay? And then the loan term in months will be 60 months. I would also say to make sure that you describe the use of the loan proceeds. They're going to want to know exactly what you're wanting to use the loan for, okay? And then you'll also put relationship information in there. So if you have a co-borrower in there, you need to put that. You obviously need to put who the borrower is, that name, and the guarantor. Um, how many jobs that you believe you'll be able to create from the loan? How many jobs that you're going to be able to retain because of the loan? If you have a project that's going on, you want to put that address and the state, and the project city and the zip as well. In order to get a loan, you're going to need collateral. And here is the information that you'll want to make sure that you put on there. So if you're going to use equipment for collateral, you would want to talk about the type of equipment that you have. And also if you already have an existing loan against that collateral. So if you already have a loan and you used that equipment for that loan, you would want to put that there. You would also need to make sure that you added who owned that collateral and then the value of that collateral. Anything else that you are using for collateral, you may have more than one thing. Again, you're going to want to put that equipment description in there, any serial numbers associated with it, when you bought it. If it's a vehicle, you want to make sure that you put that vehicle VIN number in there, the make and the year and model, and the type, the body style. And then any additional assets available, you would put that there in the comments section. Also, there may be additional information that's needed, and you want to make sure that you answer those additional questions in terms of anything that is applicable. Confirm that you agree to all of the terms and conditions at the bottom of that page and hit save before you proceed to the next page. Now, other contact information would be individuals who are not owners or guarantors, but they can be contacted to gather additional information. So if it was your tax returns or answer any of those kind of questions, those folks might be your CPA or your accountant, your bookkeeper or an attorney, or any other individuals that are authorized by you. Keep in mind that those authorized contacts would be authorized for Pathway to reach out to those individuals in order to help fulfill that loan request. Also, under additional information, make sure that you give a really good description that would make it helpful for them to understand when trying to make that decision. We'd also like to know how you heard about Pathway Lending. Did you see it in an ad? Did you get it from a friend? And if you were referred to someone, please make sure that you put that information in there as well. When adding that contact information, you're going to want to make sure that you check that box below, but you're going to give the first and last name. You would also give the email address and phone number, the relationship to you of that contact person, that company, their title, the person's title and their role, and then any comments associated. So if it was your CPA, you would say that the title was a CPA, the company is Jane's Bookkeeping, the role is an accountant, and the comments, they keep their books and they file your taxes, okay? You're going to make sure that you upload all of the requested documentation, and you also need to make sure that you have your current personal financial statement. You also need to make sure that the tax returns are original PDFs from the tax software. It can't be scanned documents. Now let's take a deep dive into these required documents. You're going to make sure that you have the 2020 and the 2021 business tax returns. They need to show that you are paying what you and your business owe to the federal government. Your personal returns show if you have enough income to put cash into your business. Your business returns show how your business has performed financially. For a sole proprietorship or S corps, personal returns show businesses' profits and losses. And for corporations, business returns show how your gross income, they show your gross income as well as your expenses. Your personal financial statement should include a listing of everything that you personally own. your assets, and everything that you owe, which are your liabilities. It provides a view into your financial position as the potential borrower. Your assets are going to include your balances in your checking or savings account, retirement accounts, stock or investment funds, or real estate. Your liabilities are going to include your credit card balances, any existing loans that you may have, as well as your mortgages. And then your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities. We will also need a debt schedule. That debt schedule tracks the debt a business carries, like your loans, credit cards, leases, and contracts. And it helps with decisions about cash flow and debt payments and taking on any new loans. List monthly debt payments and details, okay? Your year-to-date financial statements are going to summarize the business's financial performance and standing. It shows how business finances impact your day-to-day operations, like pricing and margins. Your major financial statements include your profit and loss statement, your balance sheet, and cash flow statements. So keep in mind, you're going to need to make sure that as you're uploading your documents, they include a profit and loss statement, a balance sheet, and a cash flow statement. The balance sheet gives a financial snapshot of the business. As an equation, it looks like liabilities plus owner's equity equals the assets. The two sides must balance. A cash flow statement highlights how much money comes into your business and then how much money is going out of your business. Your year-to-date financial statement shows revenues and expenses for a period of time, and it's also known as your income statement. That income statement projects sales and expenses and determine net profits. Your net profits are your gross profit minus those total operating expenses. It calculates gross profit as total sales less cost of goods sold. So the cost of goods sold is your materials, your inventory, payroll taxes, things like that. It also includes operating expenses like and overhead costs like repairs, your utilities, insurance, and legal fees, things of that nature. You also need a business plan, okay? So your business plan should be a complete picture of your business and help whoever is reading it understand the nature of your business, and it helps you as well as the person that you're giving this business plan to make a really informed decision. Things that you want to make sure that you include into that business plan is a title page, an executive summary, table of content, a business description, your marketing strategies, your competitive analysis, your development plans, operations, management plans, key personnel, and financial information. A good rule of thumb is to make sure on that business plan that you write the executive summary last. You write the executive summary last because your executive summary should not rehash the business plan, but instead it should give a summary of all of the other information that you put in there, like that business description, your competitive analysis, your marketing strategies, your key personnel, and things of that nature. You want to make sure that in that business plan, you have the financial information as well. Going back, you would want to make sure that is at least that profit and loss statement, the balance sheet, and the income statement. Also, a really good idea under key personnel is to make sure that you include resumes of the people who are working in and on that business. That helps the person who's reading it, the lender in particular, understand whether or not you have experience in whatever you're doing, and that would demonstrate whether you know how much money you need or not. Now, to give you a bit of information about Pathway, Pathway is a nonprofit CDFI lender with 153.6 million in loans and outstanding and 70 partners who invest in our mission. We have over 20 years of experience helping entrepreneurs of all stages and industries grow, succeed, and access capital throughout Nashville and across Tennessee. It is my hope that after this information session, you have a much better understanding about the loan that is available through the Nashville Small Business Recovery Fund. But if for some reason you should have any questions, please make sure that you email us at nashville@pathwaylending.org. And good luck. I really hope that you get the funding that you need in order to help your business thrive.